So from being a broke college student, dropout, all the way to making $37,000 per month within just 6 months, and being this type of person all the way to this type of person at now age 19, being able to travel all over the world like this, I have realized 6 different what I call glitches to succeeding in growth operating that today I'm going to break down for you step by step by step, starting with this first one where in order to realize success in business, you have to understand this formula of E times L times T equals money. And so there's this quote that goes like this: the day that you start is the day that you win, and the day that you stop is the day that you lose. It's a quote about playing games, and most precisely the game about business. And you'll realize success in business, as I explained in these 3 letters, is first E, energy. How much energy you put into that business, whether it's dropshipping, SMA, or growth operating that I'm talking about today, times leverage, which I'll explain down here specifically to what it is, but from the first principle perspective, it's just how much you put in, you pull that lever down, versus how much you get out. You want that to be really high. And the final part, which is exactly what you will now realize, before you haven't, but this is the key to unlocking this first glitch, which is time elapsed within that business. Because people do not realize, they jump to dropshipping, they drop to SMA, they drop to affiliate marketing, they drop to SaaS, they drop to all these different business models because they don't realize that the more time you put into that business is how you succeed. And so why I want to explain these next 5 tips today is because all of these are making sure that you understand why growth operating is literally one of the best business models, if not the best business model, to go about succeeding in 2024, precisely with mental models that you have not heard in any other place. And so confirming the understanding, confirming the conviction of your belief as to why growth operating is what you're going to stay in over the next 6, 12, 24 months is how you're going to find that success because of the elapsed time in that business model. Then getting into number 2, why exactly is growth operating the best business model? Well, it's not because making money fast. It's not because of making money easily. It's very hard and it's very not that fast. But the reality is, in that is where you find the benefit. And so in order to explain this next concept, and explain the general gist of growth operating. And so growth operating fundamentally is going to a creator and you bring in your sales skill sets, your marketing skill sets in order to re-optimize the creator's attention that they have, then converting that attention into actual tangible sales for that creator. And so in the occurrence of that happening, there are 4 elements that you must bring in order to help that creator. And so that's MSPO, marketing, sales, product, and operations. And so when you're able to do these 4 elements for the creator, that is where success happens. But the beautiful thing about this is that compared to things like SMMA or dropshipping or copywriting, I know popping off these days, or even being a closer or different things like that, how you just succeed even beyond those models is succeeding in everything. Here's what I mean by this. Because look at SMA or look at dropshipping. Fundamentally, what is SMMA? You are going to local businesses, or you're going to maybe even coaches, and keyword just, running the marketing aspect of it. Social media marketing agency. It's literally in the word. And so what is the problem with this? Great, you're generating marketing, but the reality is all you're doing is the marketing part. All you're doing is able to touch upon the marketing without helping the rest of the business, because business success leads in holistically making the business win. And that's where this concept of T-shaped people come in. Because Google calls who they hire and what the traits that they look for in a person, something called a T-shaped individual. Now, a T-shaped individual is someone that has a good general gist understanding of everything in the business. And so that's marketing, sales, product, operations, and however, really good at one specified area, hence being called a T-shaped person. Or as Sam Ovens likes to call them, full-stacked people. And so why this is so important is because this trend occurs in everywhere in the world. Things like the Michael Jordan, for instance. So Michael Jordan, I was watching the documentary called The Last Dance of Michael Jordan. And in that documentary, it was showing Michael Jordan being a good, three-point shooter, but also being a really good person in defense, being also a really good player, leading the team, being a really good player, shooting layups, as well as all the different skill sets that are within basketball. Another point is, look at someone like Taylor Swift. Now, if you look at Taylor Swift, you'll see she just kind of looks stupid from the front. But if you study the interviews with her, and I watch a lot of podcasts about her, then you'll realize her being able to speak about a lot of these different things, like her setting up the lighting for her music videos, her planning all the shots for her music videos, her writing the song, her producing the music and the beats for the actual, main song. And so you'll see with even success in the music industry, success with the sports industry, success, even there's an example that I heard from Sam Ovens, credit to him, with Leonardo da Vinci, and how he was this individual who was able to study the optometry of eyes in order to paint better, because Leonardo da Vinci is a painter. Leonardo da Vinci also studying how lighting worked in order to light the images in his painting better. Leonardo da Vinci studying how human anatomy worked in order for him to create the most accurate images of humans and the human anatomy. And so you'll realize with all these successful people in art, in music, in sports, that the main principle of all of them is that they understood everything from other disciplines. It's called multidisciplinary thinking, and therefore was able to bring it into their special medium to become the best in their field. And so that's exactly the same principle with growth operating. Because with growth operating, you'll see that you're able to do not just the marketing with the creator, because the creator has been able to bring that attention. And so through content, they have already marketed. But not only that, but you're able to build the sales systems for them. You're able to re-optimize the marketing by doing things like market research, by posting story highlights and story reels and content or for real content posts for the creator, as well as doing the product creation of the 3 C's in a info products business: course, community, coaching, and I guess CCCB with the bonuses that you add for plug and play done for you coaching businesses. Excuse me. But also with operations. And operations, my mental model of that is HR, hiring, finance, technology, and success, customer success. And so you're able to touch upon all these points being the operator. And so therefore, you're able to become not just the best growth operator, but overall in the, I would say, a funnel of people in internet money, of people in marketing, such as like the drop shippers over here, like SMA people over here, such as copywriters over here. You're able to be at the best of them. Why? Because you're overall the best at business, because you've been able to touch upon all of these elements of a business: marketing, sales, product, and operations. Therefore, being able to see a holistic view, and therefore being a T-shaped person, and therefore succeeding to overall becoming more valuable, plugging more into this equation of more energy put in, more leverage put in, and therefore more money out for you. That's why you're seeing all these crazy numbers with growth operating. Now, the second or the third point to that is how growth operating cures probably one of the number one reasons why I see people fail in internet money business, being this little piece of cancer right here: shiny object syndrome. Now, this absolutely decimates people when they want to start business. And the reality with this is growth operating does not have this at all. You literally cannot get shiny object syndrome with growth operating. And so first, let me explain what shiny object syndrome is in more detail as to probably what you truly understand of it, and then explain why exactly it does not have this. Because here's the reality with, first of all, shiny object syndrome. So shiny object syndrome is a situation where business people have this absolute cancer in their mind, where they go about business in a way where they jump from business model to the next diamond, to the next sapphire, to the next emerald, seeing, oh my God, SMMA? Oh my God, dropshipping. Oh my God, being a closer. Oh my God, being a copywriter. They jump to all these different things without realizing this principle up here, that it's time elapsed in the business that allows you to succeed. And so, with that being said, growth operating does not have this. Because here's why. This, you have to understand why this occurs, then you're able to break it down. Because here's the thing, this occurs because of the info space. It's kind of fucked, but part of it is me creating this because of this. See, in the info space, what people do is they try to sell to you why exactly their business model is the best, because that is how they win. Here's why. See, think about it like this. When you previously most likely have tried dropshipping or tried SMA or these different business models, you initially tried it because you're persuaded of it. You're persuaded of it that it's this best business model. When in reality, if you look at how the world works, there's no such thing as best in the world, but only what works and what doesn't, in accordance to how much energy you put in accordance to how much leverage, and in accordance to how much time you put into that business model. And so you'll realize that with all these different people, they're just selling you the business model to convince you to then buy their course. And the problem with that is, that's marketing. You're literally getting marketed to. You're falling down the matrix and being brainwashed to believe that this next business model that's gonna come up, right now growth operating is the main thing. But who knows, maybe some like Snapchat dropshipping or some like even TikTok affiliate shop or TikTok CPB is now popping off these days. And you're seeing like, oh my God, is that better? Is this better? Whatnot. But the thing is with growth operating, you are in the info space. You are the person creating the narrative. You are the person being the marketer because you understand the entire business, like sales, product, and operations. And so when you go and partner with a creator, let's say a SMMA creator or a dropshipping creator, or personally for us, we're touching upon like the UGC space, right? Showing a girl how to become a UGC creator. If you don't know what that is, it's user-generated content girl. If you don't know what user-generated content girl is, just look it up. But the thing with that is, we are being the info product owners. We are being the people that own the narrative, and therefore, we create, I guess, shiny object syndrome for others. And so the reality with dropshipping or with growth operating is you're able to hop to the different creators and become the one that creates the narrative in each of those situations, therefore creating shiny object syndrome for others, but albeit you don't get shiny object syndrome yourself because you're tapped in with understanding which business model is truly the best, because you're the one deciding that. And so then from there, let's move on to number 4, which is growth operating has the greatest long-term payoff. Here's what I mean by this. Now, a lot of you guys might be considering things like copywriting, becoming a copywriting email agency owner, or being a closer, or different things like that. And albeit, I'll tell you, these are initially what we would call easier to get into initially. These are simpler to get into initially. But the thing with that is, you're literally choosing the easiest route. What is the principle in business? In order to succeed in business, fundamentally, money coming to you is the principle of you providing value to others. Because money is fundamentally value that then comes to you as a form of energy, and you putting in energy, and therefore value out to others is how you get that energy back. no like woohoo haha bullshit, but you get what I mean. And so with that being said, if you choose the easiest route, what is that? That's you choosing the way, because fundamentally when you're doing something easier, you're doing something less valuable. And so when you're doing something less valuable, does that not mean that you're doing something that will provide less value to the market and therefore provide less value to you, hence making you less money? And therefore, yes, growth operating is a bit more difficult in the short term. But in the long term, why are these pens dead? In the long term, it has the greatest payoff because you're able to provide the most value as you learn in the most rapid way in a vehicle, because fundamentally a business is just a vehicle to get you to the place that you want to get to. It allows you to expand in the best way possible, exponentially, as we're with maybe like closing or appointment setting or TikTok CPB or TikTok affiliate or dropshipping or whatever. It's a kind of curve off that occurs like this. So that's the fourth principle. And the fifth principle is that if we look at the equation above, this is kind of what I'm basing everything on, this entire video. It's energy times leverage times times. And I promised to you earlier that I'll explain what leverage is, and here it is. But I'll explain it to you in the context of why it will work so successfully with you succeeding in growth operating. Here's what I mean. So leverage, as I explained earlier, is how much you put in and then how much you get out for that. Boom, you pull a lever down and you get a lot, versus boom, you pull a little tiny lever and then you only get a little bit. And so what that means then is you have to understand how or what exactly brings that leverage. What is the vehicle in which leverage is occurred in? And that is CCCC, the 4 C's of leverage. Initially, it's collaboration. Way back in the day, that was the only way to get leverage by utilizing other people's time. But nowadays, leverage at the next level, this would be like maybe 100, 500 years back, was capital. You'd invest money into a venture, and then you would see that money elapse without you putting any work in. Therefore, you put in only a little bit and you get a lot. So that's the second C of leverage. The third C is code. This was now invented back maybe 100 years ago. And code is, as you understand, right? I create, let's say, like Slack or Instagram or Facebook or any of these software companies. They create one little bit of software and all they sell is logins. Simple. They sell a fucking username and a password, and then people pay $10, $20, $50 a month recurring. And so that's code. And finally, content is the fourth C, which now this only occurred within the past maybe 20 or 30 years, where basically content allows me at scale to put in only making this video, talking to one camera, and now I am friends with you, but also not you, but all the other people that are watching this. You look down over here and there are like maybe a few thousand views in this video, right? Or maybe even more, hopefully. And those few thousand views, I made only one thing, and now I'm able to reach all those thousands of people. And the great thing is, when you want to win in business, you want to put that little bit in and a lot out. And so a little bit in and a lot out, that is the math equation of leverage. And so with growth operating, the thing is you're able to use a shit ton of leverage. Here's why. Because as I explained earlier, I'm kind of losing some space here. Let me delete this a little bit and create me some space. So as I said, with growth operating, you're touching upon the MSPO. But here's the insane thing. See, with growth operating, you already go to the creator that has the marketing done. Therefore, they've spammed out a ton of content, the fourth most point of leverage, and basically have already done the work for you. They found product market fit, one of the most difficult things to first find in a business. And all you do for them is you create the sales systems to take this and convert it here. It's such a skill set deficiency that they have that they're willing to pay this for you, whilst not understanding, the creator not understanding how powerful their marketing is. And so as a growth operator, you're able to leverage that to no degree. It's possibly the only time in the world that this has been possible. Something like this has been possible. And all you do, the sales part, the product part, and the operations part. And the creator has basically done the hardest thing for you. And so therefore, since in the business of you growth operating, because fundamentally you're touching upon the entire business, right? Because you're touching on the creator's business, there's your business, MSPO, and then there's the creator's business, MSPO, Jesus. And you're able to put so much leverage into this business that the info business rises and therefore your business rises. And therefore, it's the fastest way to get to that leverage point. And finally, number 6 is that you're able to speed through the path of the marketer the fastest. And now I made an entire video on this, the growth operator iceberg, as I like to call it, but I'll give you like a quick rundown of it here. So basically the path of the marketer is that they begin with seeing the space, seeing how to make money. And they look at dropshipping, maybe they look at TikTok, affiliate marketing. They look at all these different ways to market because all these business models fundamentally is just marketing. And they see that and they build their skill sets of marketing with whatever the first business is. Maybe it's an agency, maybe it's whatever. Then they move on to eventually info. Then from info into whatever is the next highest point, maybe some code, creating a software business. And then from there, C, capital, they start an investment firm. Now this is for the most successful people like Alex Ramosi, who started with a gym business. Fundamentally, it's just a service business. Then from there, they moved on forward to the info business, right? Gym launch, teaching other gym owners how to, scale their gym up. And from there, now he has acquisition.com, where he uses capital, the second C of leverage, to succeed or to scale other businesses. And there's someone like Sam Evans, who went from an agency, then to consulting.com, his info business, then to school.com, his tech business, code, right? There's Alex Becker, Hyros, with starting in his agency. He had an SEO agency before. Then from there, moving on into his info business, teaching other people how to start the SEO agency. Then from another info business, he taught other people how to run YouTube ads because he really got good at that. Then from there, moving on to Hyros, and now, selling that, utilizing C, code. And so there's a very clear path that all these people take. And you realize that for you, what is the trend with all these people? It's that, oh wait, they all land in info. And so I have a friend right now who is in the agency space, and he's been in there for another year longer than me. And what I realize is that not just him, but all these agency people, they want to eventually get into the info space. And now, what better way than to get into the info space than to literally be in the info space from the beginning? Growth operating by doing the sales product operations part, and then the creator already doing the hardest part for you, marketing. And so it's just such a no-brainer to me. It's so obvious to get into growth operating because of all these different 6 points. And now, since it's so obvious, we basically help you out to start this business by plugging in all our systems and by, holding your hand one-on-one from finding this creator of marketing, then to touching upon the sales process with them with emails and closing systems, then from helping them out with their product and pilot operations. And so we call that operator incubator, and we have roughly around a few more spots for the beginning of the first cohort. And so just DM me cohort 1 on my Instagram down below, and then I'll see if I can help you out there. And the other point is, if you don't want to check that out, then that's fine. I don't really care. Because you could literally start this entire business model, because I have an entire 5-hour free course on my YouTube channel. I have appointment setting, how to get outreach, the first creator on my YouTube channel, 2-hour course. I have so many other different things on my YouTube channel, plus a school group that has all the resources that I talk about in those videos down in the description as well. So either check the school out, either DM me, cohort 0. I don't really care. And I'll see you on the next video. Bye.